I try to take the lessons I've learned from the various teachers I've had who were helpful, who weren't necessarily teachers. Micah was one. My children's book editor, Michael DiCaprio, was another one. I've learned immeasurably for how these guys handle writers, particularly me. And I try to translate it to my students in my own way.
Your course is called Humor and Truth.
I started teaching here about 11 years ago, but what I did with the first class, it's an MFA class on writing.
Right.
And technically about humor, although no one signs up is ever funny. And I tell them from the very beginning that in this class, you have a license to fail. That's because you already know how to write the way you write, and it's not going to do any of us any good if you just continue to turn in stuff that you're sure of. So I want to put you on ground where you try out different voices, because each of us has developed his or her own writer's voice, and you can do that. But I want you to find another voice, and another voice, and another voice. And I said, when I got into the theater, I was amazed at how I had to learn to develop sounding like different people, and how I learned how to do it, and you can too. It's a humor class, and the staple of humor is the loser whining about what happened to him or her and how everything screwed up and this person did this to him. So I say, write about a terrible injustice done to you by one other person, and write about it and try to be funny about it, but more than anything else, make it a legitimate complaint. It can even be a rant. And I said, the next assignment is do the same piece all over again from the other person's point of view, the persecuted. And write it from his or her point of view, again, as if you're that person. So, I mean, that's the way I forced them to identify with the voice that they were opposed to, and the voice that was persecuting them. And then that person becomes the injured party. And so much of school teaches you what not to do, the don'ts, and makes you very wary of what you can, it makes you afraid to approach the page because you're going to get it all wrong. I do just the opposite and encourage them to, as I say, to take chances, to fall on your face, to not worry about getting it right, and to do not edit. If you ever write well, it doesn't come out of here. It comes from somewhere else, and you don't even know where it is coming from. And let that happen. If you figured out everything in advance, what you may have is a very craftsman-like piece of work, but it'll be dead on the paper and dead on, it's inert. So let stuff happen that comes from somewhere else, not your brain. And when you've got it down, then you use your brain to check it out, to edit it, to fix it, to see whether there's something promising here or it really stinks. I mean, that you can make judgments later on.